finding the right job today. It can honestly feel like, well, like a full-time job itself, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
So much noise out there, so many places to look. I mean, how do you even cut through it all and actually land the role you really want?
Yeah, it's definitely more complex now. It's not just about hitting apply anymore. You need a strategy,
Mhm.
precision. And frankly, you need to know how to speak the right language.
The right language
Oh,
for recruiters, obviously, but also for those tracking systems everyone uses now.
the ATS. Right. And that is precisely the mission for this deep dive then. We've got this stack of resources, articles, notes, research you've shared, all focused on one critical thing, crafting job applications that actually win.
Hmm.
We're talking CVs, cover letters, and your LinkedIn profile, too.
Yeah, the goal here is to really dig into these sources,
Yeah.
pull out the absolute most crucial nuggets of knowledge,
The good stuff.
the stuff that gets you past just sending applications into the void and actually helps you secure interviews and hopefully that dream role. Okay, so consider this your shortcut then. We're going to unpack the real-world tips, maybe even a few surprising insights the sources say can make a colossal difference. Let's get into it.
Okay, sounds good. Let's start with the absolute foundation, your CV, your resume.
Right.
This is your professional snapshot, isn't it? Your first impression. The standard components are pretty straightforward. Contact information, a professional summary,
Yeah.
work experience, education, skills, and any certifications or awards. Pretty standard.
Right. And the sources make a really sharp point about that contact info, actually.
Yes, I
Unless the job listing specifically asks for it.
Mm-hmm.
Things like your full street address, city, state, maybe even your origin. They say it's just clutter.
Yeah, mostly unnecessary.
Stick to name, phone number, professional email, and maybe your LinkedIn URL. Keep it clean, keep it direct.
Absolutely. Now that professional summary, that's your chance to make a quick, powerful impact right at the top.
The elevator pitch.
Sort of, yeah. It needs to be brief, like 2 to 3 sentences, maybe 4 lines max. And it's not just saying who you are.
Okay.
It's about articulating your career goal, your key qualifications, and crucially, why you are the right fit for this specific job.
Okay, that why you should be hired for this specific job feels absolutely essential. And this is where the sources highlight a major shift, right? It's
Yeah.
very different from, say, applying for graduate roles.
Oh, completely different, yeah. When you're just starting out, one solid CV might cover a range of similar entry-level positions. Your core experience isn't super specialized yet,
Makes sense.
but at the experience level, everything changes.
And this is where it gets really interesting, I thought.
Hmm.
The sources actually quote someone saying applying for a job today is like doing job on its own.
Huh. Yeah, it can feel like that.
And they even put a number on the time investment. It can take, get this, 30 to 45 minutes to rework one CV to suit that job.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
30 to 45 minutes per application? That's
Yeah.
that's a significant chunk of time. Why is that tailoring so incredibly critical?
Well, because generic CVs just don't cut it anymore. Simple as that. Companies aren't usually looking for a generalist unless the role specifically says so.
Right.
They're looking for someone who fits a very particular mold, the one described in the job posting. So that 30, 45 minutes, that's you actively matching your CV's language, your focus,
Uh-huh.
to the keywords and the specific requirements listed in that job description.
Okay, can you give us a concrete example of that tailoring?
Sure. Imagine you're a data analyst.
Okay.
You might see openings for a report analyst, maybe an insight analyst, or a performance analyst.
Okay. Similar but different focuses.
Exactly. There's overlap, but the emphasis is different. So maybe your CV highlights your experience using Power BI for building dashboards and reports, standard stuff.
Yeah.
But the job posting for an insight analyst talks about data modeling, conceptual models, maybe logical models using Power BI. You need to tweak your language.
Ah, I see.
So instead of just saying proficient in Power BI, you'd maybe emphasize your experience with Power BI for data modeling, developing conceptual and logical models. You're using their specific terms.
To show the direct match.
Precisely.
So you're not changing your history, obviously, but you're highlighting the parts of your history that are most relevant to this role right now.
Exactly. It's about presenting your existing skills through the lens of their specific needs.
Got it. Presenting it through their lens.
And speaking of history, that brings us nicely to a work experience. At an experience level, this is usually the most important section.
Right at the top.
Usually, yeah. Unlike graduate CVs, where education often takes the lead because, well, that's your main credential initially.
And the sources are really, really clear. that this section isn't just a list of your old job duties. You need to structure it to show
Achievements.
achievements, right, and productivity.
Absolutely. Yes. This is where action verbs become your best friend. Words like achieved, analyzed, created, designed, developed, implemented, improved, increased, led, managed, you get the idea, negotiated, organized, planned, reduced, resolved, strong verbs.
That's a powerful list. It's the difference between saying, like, was a member of a team responsible for X?
Right, passive.
And
Yeah.
saying, led a team that achieved X or developed Y,
Yeah.
resulting in Z. You have to project your individual contribution,
Right.
your impact.
Exactly. And the sources even note that something that might seem small, like, say, having experience working in a team where people are scattered geographically, that can be highlighted as a real edge if you're applying for remote jobs now. Shows you can handle that setup.
Good point. Remote work skills.
Precisely. And look, action verbs aren't quite enough on their own. You need quantification. Whenever possible.
Numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Demonstrate the scale and the impact of what you did. How many people did you manage? By what percentage did you increase revenue or maybe reduce errors or cut down processing time? Numbers make your accomplishments concrete. Impressive.
Okay, makes sense. So the question everyone always asks, CV length. How long should it be? The sources suggest aiming for 1 to 2 pages.
That's the general guidance.
But they do acknowledge that for experienced professionals, people with longer careers, 3 pages might be necessary sometimes.
Yeah, the core principle here is relevance and conciseness. Focus on the experience and achievements most relevant to the job you're actually applying for now.
Right.
Avoid redundancy. If you manage teams in 3 different roles, maybe highlight different achievements or skills from each role rather than just repeating managed a team 3 times.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Quality and focus, not just listing every single thing you've ever done.
Which kind of brings us to formatting. Clean, professional, consistent font, clear layout that seems obvious, but the sources give a really strong warning here about what not to do.
Yes, and this is absolutely critical, especially now. Avoid any kind of complex formatting, meaning no fancy graphics, no photos unless they specifically ask, which is rare. No text boxes, no elaborate columns or weird layouts.
But why? Doesn't a visually appealing CV stand out, make you look creative?
It might stand out to a human, yeah, but before it even gets to a human.
Ah, the ATS again.
Exactly. It's almost certainly going through an application tracking system first. These are software programs scanning for keywords. Complex formatting can completely confuse the ATS.
So it might just get rejected by the machine.
It can, yeah. Makes your application unreadable to the software. So simple text, standard fonts like Calibri, Arial, Times New Roman. Save it as a basic PDF or maybe a Word doc. That's usually best.
Okay.
Use white space. Make it easy to read for humans too, but keep the underlying structure simple for the robots.
Keep it simple for the robots. Got it. What are some other common mistakes the sources flag up?
Well, typos and grammatical errors. Seems basic, but they happen. And they scream carelessness.
Proofread.
Proofread meticulously. Get someone else to read it too if you can. Another big one is irrelevant information.
All right, the clutter.
Yeah, it just dilutes your impact and can confuse the ATS too. Stick to experience and skills directly related to the jobs you're targeting. And finally, vagueness.
Like what?
Like saying part of a team or responsible for. Be specific. What was your role? What actions did you take? What were your results?
Okay, let's circle back to the ATS and keywords for a second, because this is where that tailoring really shines, isn't it?
Oh, it's where it pays off big time.
Yeah.
The ATS essentially compares the keywords in the job description to the keywords in your CV.
And scores you.
Sort of, yeah. The more relevant keywords it finds, the higher your match percentage and the more likely you are to pass that initial automated screen.
Okay.
The sources use a simple but effective example. If the job description uses the word depart, use depart in your CV, even if you'd normally say left.
Just mirror their language.
It helps the algorithm see the direct match. Simple as that.
Okay, let's look at those examples from the sources, contrasting weak descriptions with strong ones. The transformation is pretty incredible when you see it laid out.
It really shows how impactful rethinking your language can be, doesn't it? Instead of something weak like responsible for managing projects and team.
Yeah, kind of bland.
A strong description using those action verbs, quantification, specific results, would be something like led a cross-functional team of put the number in the successful delivery of 5 major projects completed on time and within budget. implemented methodologies that improved efficiency by 20% and reduced project turnaround by 15%.
Wow. Okay, that's the same basic work, but it tells a completely different story about your capabilities,
Yeah.
your impact.
Exactly. Or take a really basic task like data entry.
Yeah.
Instead of just worked on data entry tasks, you could rephrase it to highlight skill and efficiency. Accurately entered and managed large data sets, improving data entry efficiency by put a percentage, and developing data validation processes that reduced errors and increased data integrity.
See, that elevates it completely.
And for administrative tasks, you could move from something generic, like handled various administrative tasks in the office.
Yeah, everyone does that.
Yeah. To something specific like streamlined office operations by implementing new filing systems, resulting in a percentage increase in efficiency. Coordinated and managed schedules for 5 executives, ensuring seamless operations and effective time management.
Okay, these examples really drive it home. You can take almost any task and elevate it. Make it achievement-oriented.
By focusing on your action and the resulting impact, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about putting more life, as the sources say, into those bullet points.
Okay, fantastic. So we've built this powerful, tailored CV. What's the next piece of the puzzle? The motivation statement or cover letter?
Right. This document is your chance to go over and beyond what your CV provides.
Go deeper.
Yeah. And it is absolutely not the place to just repeat the bullet points from your CV. That's a common mistake.
What is the purpose then?
Its purpose is to add more life, more context.
Ah, okay. More life. I like that. It's where you connect the emotional side, the why, perhaps.
Exactly that. You explain why you are genuinely interested in that particular role at that specific company. It's personal. And you explicitly connect the dots. Clearly state how your unique experience, your skills, your background directly match the specific requirements they've listed in their job description.
And the sources mention using personal experiences here too, like brief ones.
Yes, absolutely. Incorporating relevant brief anecdotes can really demonstrate your readiness, your preparation. The sources recommend using the STAR approach here.
STAR. Situation, task.
Situation, task, action, result. Yeah.
Yep.
STAR. You set the context, situation, explain what you needed to do, task, describe what you specifically did, action, and then detail the positive outcome, result.
Okay.
So, for example, maybe mentioning an intern project where you led some initiative that reduced processing time by 20%. That shows initiative, it shows results, it backs up your claims.
Makes sense. You can also touch on your longer-term career aspirations, right?
Yeah.
And explain how this specific role fits into that vision.
Definitely. Shows you've thought about your path and how this isn't just any job for you, like saying, I see this role as a crucial step toward my goal of specializing in X. This letter is also really key for stating your value proposition.
Your value prop. What does that mean here?
Basically, what specific, tangible contribution will you bring to their organization's success? Highlight what makes you stand out.
Okay.
Use phrases like, with my strong background in your area and a proven track record in specific achievement, I am confident I can contribute to your team's success by. Be direct about the value you bring.
And personalized research on the company is huge here too, right? Showing you actually know them.
Oh, massive, yeah. Showing you understand their mission, their values, maybe recent work they've done. The source tells a great story about someone referencing a recent BP project during an interview.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently the interviewers were really impressed by that specific detail, showed genuine interest and effort.
That level of detail definitely differentiates you. Okay, so common pitfalls for cover letters. Being vague.
Yeah, vagueness is a killer. Always back up claims with specific details. Also, lacking personalization, the letter must connect to you and the specific job. Generic letters are obvious.
And probably too long.
Can be, yeah. Overly long or rambling sentences. Keep it clear, concise, and really focused. Get to the point.
Good advice. And just a quick note from the sources, terms like personal statement, motivation statement, cover letter, they're often used interchangeably, right? So just understand the context.
Exactly. Look at what they're asking for.